Aya! Welcome! So this should be a relatively quick contest entry for a great channel. I've been subscribing to him for a few months now, and he recently ran a contest, a great one. I didn't win it, but I really enjoyed taking part. I'm talking about Christian over at CGC Vinyl, and this is his contest to celebrate 1 year as a member of the YouTube vinyl community itself. The prize is given away, I believe, is $40 in Amazon store credit, and I do believe his contest is running until Friday, March the 10th. So, long time to enter. Speaking of contests, I'm still running my own. I plug it in pretty much every music related video that I make at the moment, but it is still running until February the 2nd. Of course, I'm talking about JB2K. If you've not entered yet, why not? I'm giving away two prizes. Runner-up prize of £25, payable probably by PayPal, and the same for the grand prize, which is a nice £50 in your back pocket. Mine's running until February the 2nd. Please get involved if you haven't yet, and thank you to everyone who has entered so far. I really do appreciate everyone who's taken the time to make a video entry for JB2K. Alright then, on with CGC Vinyl's contest itself. Now to tell you what to do regarding the contest itself. Of course, I will leave a link to Christian's original contest announcement video at the very top of my description here, so please go and watch that. Give him a sub, obviously. You need to be subscribing to CGC Vinyl, but it's a very simple contest this. To celebrate his first year in the VC, he wants us to show 3 genres of music, preferably on vinyl record, but I don't think he'll mind if you have to show CDs, cassettes, mini discs even, blah blah blah. And he wants to show 3 of one genre, then 6 of another, and then 5 of the third and final genre. So 365, as in the number of days in a year. Great idea for a contest. Let me get going with this right now. So the first genre I'm picking is Britpop, the 90s phenomenon itself. And I'm going to start with this album here, which was the debut album from Liverpool's Cast, All Change. I think 1995 this came out. This is part of a larger box set of Cast's first 4 studio albums I've got. I've got a lot of coloured vinyl here among all these that I'm going to be showing you, but just to keep this video moving along, I'm not going to start getting stuff out of sleeves and that. I've shown all these albums at some point or another over the course of my long tenure here on YouTube, so please have a look back in my music collecting playlist and see if there's anything there that takes your fancy. Great indie guitar band. I saw them live in Sheffield back in '97. That is All Change by Cast. And speaking of Sheffield, here are the Steel City's own Pulp. Another band I always wanted to see these live. I think I was very close to getting tickets for them around '96, '97, but just never pulled the trigger on it. For me, this is where I really got into Pulp, with the amazing Different Class from 1995. It's got cracking singles for the era like Common People, Sorted Freeze and Whiz, Disco 2000 on here. Love it. Pulp's Different Class. And the third and final Britpop album is one that is a hits compilation, a relatively new one, but I thought I'd show this, as although they kind of preceded Britpop a little bit, well, probably by about 4 years or so really, as they got going, I think, in the very early 90s, so they kind of were riding on the Manchester coattails really. They did release at least 2 or 3 proper Britpop type albums, including their self-titled album from, I think that would have been 1995. I'm talking about the Charlatans, and this is their, I don't think this has been out too long, their compilation album, A Head Full of Ideas, and this is also a special edition that's got a live disc called Trust Is For Believers. Certainly the Britpop era tracks on here that I remember are Just When You're Thinking Things Over, one of my very favourite Charlatan singles. That it's got a real sort of groovy, almost Rolling Stones sort of sound. North Country Boy, Telling Stories, One to Another, How High. These are all out when Britpop was at its height really. So that is my third and final choice for the Britpop records. The Charlatans' Head Full of Ideas. Next is to show a second genre with 6 albums in. It was quite an easy choice for me because I've been collecting a lot in this genre. I would say niche genre of music this, because I still see very little of this shown other than by myself here on YouTube. If you're into stuff like Stranger Things on Netflix, then you would have heard this kind of thing in the background all the time, and it just harks back to 80s movies and TV. I'm talking, of course, about synthwave, and here's the first of 6 synthwave albums I'm going to show you. All of these are going to be on coloured vinyl because just the record labels who produce synthwave stuff, they always go all out, and this is actually a 2-disc picture disc from Future Cop, the brilliant Fairy Tales. This is such a good album, and the picture discs, and I remember quite vividly the day that I first showed this on the channel, just how overawed I was at the picture discs. Future Cop, who are a duo from here in the UK, with Fairy Tales. Second of 6 synthwave albums is this one that I've not owned for too long on the Aztec Records label, Thought Beings with Neon Beach. Good album this. It was kind of an impulse sort of purchase. In fact, it wasn't even that really, it was just part of a bundle with another album that I really wanted, and then a third one that I was taking a punt on, kind of like this. And I just thought, yeah, at the price for the bundle, it had some money off. I think the records, the albums ended up working out at something like less than a tenner each really, which for brand new vinyl, you can't go wrong. But this is really good, this. It's a male-female duo, as you'd probably be able to guess from the back of the sleeve there. A real 80s vibe here. I mean, that screams 1980s to me. But that is Neon Beach by Thought Beings. Third synthwave album to show you is from the beautiful German singer Nina. This is her album Cynthian. I was blown away by this. This was another one that I got in one of these Bandcamp bundles from Aztec Records, where they were selling sort of 3 albums and you got a sticker or 2 as well. This is really good, but I've been wanting to get into Nina for a while, as I've been listening to a bit of her music on Bandcamp anyway. The majority of these synthwave albums I think you can go ahead and stream on Bandcamp right now, and most of it will be on usual streaming services like Spotify as well. That is Nina and Cynthian. Yet another one that was out of a bundle. A good one. I've never bought a synthwave album and really disliked it. There's some that, maybe this is one of them, that I could live without if I had to, but I've got it. This is Zenith Vault. There he is on the back there, and his album is called Timekeeper. So yeah, not really an awful lot to say about this other than it's decent. The title track is the opening track on here. You know what you get in with synthwave if you're into the genre. You put it on and it's like, you almost get like a chill, because it's like, wow, I'm back in the 80s for 3-4 minutes each track. Love that from Zenith Vault, Timekeeper. I think this is the penultimate of the synthwave albums. This is one I've owned for quite a while. I think probably getting on for 3 years is when I bought this. From the Spetro family, and this is on Timeslave Recordings, Glow in the Dark. Spetro family, I think it's just one guy really, Steve Spetro. I can't remember if he is actually Italian or whether that's just like a stage name. But Steve Spetro, aka Spetro family, he does these like proper sort of, you would consider them to be like film soundtracks, but they're not. But everything on an album is kind of related. So this is meant to be like a horror film sort of soundtrack. It's absolutely fantastic. I think that might be on neon green vinyl, I can't remember. Like I say, everything's there in my music collecting playlist, so if you're at a loose end one day, make sure you enter the contest first, JB2K, but then after that, watch a few of my old videos and you'll see some absolutely amazing vinyl, particularly from these indie synthwave outfits. Here's the final synthwave album to show you. Another one of my very favourites that I've shown you out of this 6 actually. JJ Mist in Communication. She reminds me a lot of Madonna, a particularly early period Madonna. So she's kind of leaning a little bit more towards the high energy mark of synthwave, which kind of straddles over into Italo disco a little bit, but I don't mind that because I'm a massive Italo disco and high energy fan as well. This is a brilliant album. Sick Obsession is, I think, probably my favourite track on here. Please check out JJ Mist if you've never heard of her. None of these artists I've shown you have particularly caught on in the mainstream, but they're all absolutely brilliant as far as I'm concerned. So that's the final one for the 6 synthwave LPs, JJ Mist and Communication. And finally, to show you 5 albums in a third genre, and the genre I've picked here is one that I've been collecting a lot of in lately, Eurodance. Here's the first of 5 Eurodance albums, and this one is out of an Ace of Base box set that I've got. It's their debut album, Happy Nation. It's always subtitled US version, but that is the version that also came out here in the UK and I think probably other countries as well. I love Ace of Base, take me right back to my teenage years really. You might be seeing more Ace of Base on the channel pretty soon as well. Ace of Base Happy Nation US version. Here's a Eurodance act that really hit it big here in the UK because they had 3 #1 singles in a row and 3 really good ones as well. Barbie Girl, yeah, that did get annoying quickly, but this is the 25th anniversary Aqua Aquarium. This is the Aqua web store / Sound of Vinyl exclusive edition. Made me feel really old when I saw that this was getting a 25th anniversary reissue, because it only seemed like last week that I first heard Aqua in the charts in 1997. So there we are, Aqua and their, I can't remember if this would have been their debut album, it probably was. I know they did have a few more minor hits in Scandinavia before they broke big here in Britain. One that I got fairly recently, I just found it on the off chance on a German music site that I like to look at, as they have a lot of stuff for a good price that is difficult, almost impossible at times to get within the UK. And talk about Hadaway's The Album. Hadaway, What Is Love, made famous really in America from that, was it Live at the Roxbury sketch on Saturday Night Live? It's not something I'm massively familiar with, but I see it referenced quite a lot on things. But What Is Love was a massive hit here in the UK. I think it got to #2. It was one of those that you feel would have been #1 had something not just a little bit more ubiquitous been standing in its way. Hadaway, The Album, this is on I think gold vinyl. Another Eurodance album, and it's 24/7 featuring Stacey and Nance, Slave to the Music. Another fairly recent purchase, so I did show this in a Records Roundup video not that long ago. It's out on the Music on Vinyl label, and this is on crystal clear and blue swirled vinyl. Another impulse purchase of a fashion, but I just wanted to collect as much Eurodance on LP as possible. And Music on Vinyl, I've said this in Records Roundup videos, they've been an absolute godsend for me really, for finding these Eurodance reissues from the 90s all repackaged and done up nicely here in the 2020s. And finally we've got one more album in the Eurodance genre, and this is another anniversary edition, the 30th anniversary edition of Snap's second album, The Madman's Return. It has a Rhythm as a Dancer on it. If that's not enough to make you want to go out and at least listen to this album, if not buy it, then I don't know what will. It came on translucent orange and yellow vinyl. It's got a couple of sort of remixes on it, a couple of different versions of Rhythm as a Dancer. As albums go, I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. It's not bad. I'm really glad I got it. Like I say, it was worth it for Rhythm as a Dancer alone, to be honest. It's a good one for the collection, but I don't think it's the strongest Eurodance album in my own particular collection. But there's Snap, Madman's Return. Right then, there we are. That was my entry for Christian CGC Vinyl's latest 1 year in the VC contest. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And I want to say special thanks as always, not only to Christian for being a great guy and running this giveaway, but also to everyone who subscribes to this channel and is a patron of mine. I'm going to go now. Could listen to one of these albums really, couldn't I? What haven't I listened to in a while? That Ace of Base box set actually is calling to me like a siren. But as I say, there's going to be some more Ace of Base coming up on the channel very soon. So stay tuned for that, if you will. And until then, I will say goodbye, and I do hope that you will join me again for my next vinyl community contest and record collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!